Hello, welcome to Learning the Business of Landscape Design. This is Computer-Aided Drafting, and I am Dan Lee. Today we're going to go over the first couple of commands just to kind of get you in the rhythm of things. So down at the bottom of the screen, there are the drawing aids. So all of these boxes that are blue, that means those drawing aids are currently active or turned on. We want to turn those off. So you can see by clicking on these, the screen changes. And then we have an empty screen now, which is what we want to get started. We'll learn how to use each one of those drawing aids by turning them on one by one individually, and then we'll know exactly what we do and when to use them. So make sure that model is kind of over here. It doesn't say paper, it says model, and then the same thing over on the tabs on this side that it says model. Those are very important. My background is white just so it shows up a little bit better, has a little bit different contrast. Yours might be black or any other color that you would like it to be, and we'll cover customization here in a couple episodes. Now I want you to find the command line. So the command line are all these words right here, and it can be docked, it can be moved around. If you do not see the command line, you can hit Control 9 and it'll bring the command line back, and then you can move it around and dock it. You can also change the size of it by scrolling up and down. It usually takes a couple of tries, but I can make it much bigger or much smaller. I like to have it about 4 lines open so that I can see what's happening. When you're learning AutoCAD, it's very important that you keep your eye on the command line. It will save you a lot of time and frustration. Every command will walk you through what it's looking for and what you need to do next. The first command we are going to work on is the rectangle. So if we go up to the top, make sure you're in a home tab on the drawing pane here. And this is the rectangle. We're going to show you the icon. And if your fly down isn't working, you can kind of click this little arrow next to it, and it'll say rectangle just to make sure you're in the right spot. And then if you hover longer, that'll expand and give you a lot more information about it. So go ahead and click that. And then we're going to click up at the upper right-hand corner, or upper left-hand corner, I should say, and the lower right-hand corner. And now you have drawn a rectangle. So if you look at your command line, it asks you to specify the first corner and then specify the other corner. And it gave you a bunch of options, which we can talk about here as we go through the program. The other important thing to note is that after you click that second time, the command line was empty and it's asking for you to type a command so you know that you are done. Now we're going to draw another rectangle. So go ahead and click that icon again. Then click, and you're done. The next thing that we're going to work on is how to move around the screen. So just like every other program these days, you can use the scroll wheel. The scroll wheel can be used to go zoom in and out. And then if you click and hold the scroll wheel, it will work as a pan command. So you can move side to side and up and down without zooming in and out. What I would like you to do is to use the scroll wheel and zoom out as far as possible. So just keep zooming out, and see it'll kind of follow your thing there. So once you've kind of zoomed out all you can, we're going to work on the actual commands for pan and zoom. I will be teaching you all of the commands by entering the commands by typing as well as the icons. We do this because the previous versions, all the way from 5, 10, 15, 20 years, if you're working for a company or have access to a program that's older, the keyboard commands will still work. You'll still know how to operate the program, where the icons might not exist, or they might be in a different place, or they might look completely different. You do not need to click into the command line area. It will automatically go there whenever you touch the keyboard. So now I will have you type in the word zoom. So once you type in zoom and you're reading the command line, it will give you a bunch of options. So anything that is capitalized is going to be a shortcut for that option, and anything in parentheses is going to be the default or the last command option you've used. To select the default option, you just hit enter again, but we're not going to do that at this time. We're going to hit E for extents and then press enter. Now all of our squares are filling up our entire drawing space. So that's what zoom extents does. You might have ran across it in some of the other programs that you're using. Now we're going to erase one of the squares. There's an eraser icon up at the top, but I want you to go ahead into the command line and just type erase. And then press enter. And now it's asking you to select an object. Note that when you hover over an object, it's going to fade or gray out. So that means you've selected or are going to select that item. So we're going to go ahead and select that. And then we're going to hit enter. As you see on the command line, it says it's found one object, and now that object is gone. A fun command that you'll probably only use when you're first learning is called the oops command. And the oops command brings back the last thing erased. So it's different than using a back arrow or Control Z as you might be wanting to do. Those will bring you back one command, where the oops command will bring back the last thing erased. So if you've erased something and it's been a few commands, you've done a few things since then, and you just realize that you're missing something, you can always try the oops command, and that will bring back the last thing that you've erased. So oops, and now my square is back. When you're working with keyboard commands, you do not always have to type in the whole word of that command. A lot of the basic commands, you just need the first letter. So if I just type E for erase and then hit enter, it's going to know that I'm going to erase, and it's going to select objects. So let me empty the command line by hitting escape, and I'm going to type in Z for zoom. You'll see, reading the command line, that it entered the zoom command. I'm going to hit escape again and go back to erase, E. A lot of these basic commands have hidden modifiers. You can do things that it's not telling you as well. You just have to know, like all. So if we want to erase and we want to erase everything, we can type in ALL for all. And you note when I press the enter, it will say to found, and it has grayed out both of the rectangles. Now if I hit enter again, those rectangles are gone and my drawing space is empty. Thank you very much. Hopefully you made it through the first few commands here, and we'll be picking up with greater speed as we're moving forward. Thank you very much. Thank you for watching, and please visit us at Learn Landscape Design on YouTube.